Hey YouTube, what is happening? This is Casey with Casey and the Boys, and today we're going to be discussing the fights between Zoro and King and Sanji and Queen. Before we get started, if you're new here, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out as we are trying to start this community. First off, spoilers for chapter 1027. We'll be going over what has recently happened in the manga, and if you don't want to be spoiled on this, please do not continue. You have been warned. Okay. We're going to start off by reflecting where these two fights are between Zoro and King and Sanji and Queen. So in the last chapter, 1027, we got a latest update of what's happening with Zoro and King, and honestly, Zoro is getting his ass kicked. We saw him knocked out of the hall as King is attacking indiscriminately, injuring Beast Pirates, Samurai, Queen alike. But he was able to knock Zoro from the hall, even though he blocked the attack, and into Frankie. Yeah, he didn't accept Frankie's help, and he wants to fight King on his own. He says he's got this, but we see Zoro is exhausted, tired, coughing up blood, and really just honestly very worse for wear. Meanwhile, King actually, we don't see any damage on King. The only thing we do see that caused him to actually lose his temper is Zoro actually damaged his mask of his bodysuit. And although this did tick him off and make him go wild, he hasn't actually hurt King. And so for the state that Zoro's in this situation, it is not looking good. Also, Zoro has a time constraint here because the side effects of that medicine he took could hit him at any moment. We don't know how long that's going to last, and that has the potential to drop him and completely take him out of this fight. If he has to take whatever repercussions this is going to have, it's only going to hurt his chances with King. On the other hand, we haven't seen too much of Sanji's fight for the last few chapters. We saw his amazing intro attacking Queen, and we've seen Zoro and Sanji back to back in some panels as we flashed over to them during other events at Onigashima. So I think we are going to know what's going to happen in both of these fights in the next few chapters. I don't think they're going to be finished, but I think once we get an update of Sanji's fight, we're going to have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. With that, we have two options. First, Sanji is going to be winning. If Sanji is winning, I think that he will continue to do so. We haven't yet seen why he is feeling weird, and not bad, but weird. And we're all expecting some kind of power up. Maybe he is going to unlock some latent abilities because of the experimentation on his lineage factor. We're expecting this to be positive, not negative. And so whenever that comes out, that would only help him in this fight. So if Sanji's already winning, Sanji is good. He will defeat Queen, won't be much of an issue. But where does that leave Zoro? If Sanji's winning, Zoro is not going to want to accept help from Sanji. He just isn't. They are too competitive, and Zoro is not typically one to swallow his pride. So right there we can see, winning or losing, that's going to dictate how Zoro approaches his fight with King. So, if Sanji's losing, Zoro's going to try and do it himself. So we already see what's stacked up against Zoro. How could this potentially work out for him? What would Zoro's victory look like in this situation? Well, we have a few things that have been done before. Zoro has shown us powers that he hasn't demonstrated before, and he has gone kind of above and beyond just what we've seen. But it doesn't typically surprise us for what he can do because he is known for these amazing moments. And those amazing moments are the next thing. Zoro could also just have an absolutely out of this world badass moment and then drop as he's hit with the side effects of that miracle drug. Okay, so what's that moment going to be? Well, we saw Zoro scare Yonko with an attack that he launched. I think this is the pretty obvious answer of what is going to happen. And Zoro's real difficulty here will be ensuring that that attack lands. So when he was fighting against Kaido and Big Mom with the other supernova on the roof, he launched this attack, and Big Mom was so frightened, she told Kaido that he had to dodge, which is absolutely insane with what we know of Kaido's resistance and Kaido's strength. But Big Mom was aware of how dangerous this attack was, and so very easily we can see that this attack has the potential to take down King. There is no question about that. But one other thing that I want to bring up is that we might actually see some kind of new form or move from Zoro, kind of like his Ashura form in Eni's lobby. So this actually comes from a theory from Joy Boy and how Zoro's progression actually relates to the different realms of reincarnation in Buddhism. I'm not going to go too much into that, but if you are interested, it's a fantastic video. It is honestly one of my favorite One Piece videos and theory videos. Please check it out. So potentially Zoro could get a new form. And that would be maybe a god form, as he is slaying a Lunarian who may have been a god on the wall before the celestial dragons. I think the symbolism there would be fantastic. That is just another option that is maybe not as likely as the attack that we already have, but it's fun to question it and it's fun to theorize, and honestly, it's just one more option that we have open to us. So, what's going to happen if Sanji is losing? Well, I think that's also been foreshadowed to us already. We have seen King and how he interacts with Queen on this battlefield. We have seen that they don't really work the best together, as King was launching off attacks indiscriminately, and he injured Queen by slicing his butt, and Queen started yelling at him. At first, you see this as maybe similar banter between Sanji and Zoro. However, King responds that he wished it cut his neck, which still seems like it could be banter. However, he directly injured Queen, who is supposed to be his ally. We watched him cut down other beast pirates with his attacks, and we see the whole picture that King and Queen are not going to work well together. And I believe that is exactly how Zoro and Sanji will end up on top of their battles and win these fights, even if they are both losing their respective one-on-one fights. Teamwork. Zoro and Sanji have been with each other throughout the vast majority of the story. And for the most part, they do their own thing and compete with one another ferociously. However, in this situation, in a situation where they are both losing, and typically would be both too stubborn to ask for help, I believe they will come together through that need and respect for one another and defeat King and Queen. This seems like a simple thing. We've seen them working and fighting back to back as we've flashed over to them, but we haven't seen any duo attacks, combination attacks, and we haven't seen a well choreographed fight focused on the two of them fighting together since Maxie's crew in the Long Ring Long Land arc. And this would be, one, an amazing thing to see again, and two, a fantastic metaphor, and it would fit Zoro and Sanji being the wings of the Pirate King that Robin mentioned chapters ago now. Because as wings, they have to work in tandem, they have to work in unison, and they have to work together to raise the body and to raise Luffy up to the status of Pirate King. And so by working together, as it has already been set up, they'll overcome these foes that are individually stronger than them. Again, it's a great example of the symbolism of being the wings of the Pirate King, and it's a great example of the sum of the parts being greater than the whole, which relates back to the entire crew and Luffy's general view of his crew and how they support and make up for his weaknesses. They aren't just their individual parts, but they are the Straw Hat crew altogether, and how they can support one another, and how they will always support one another. Well, that is it for this discussion. Please feel free to ask me questions, correct any mistakes that you think I have, and just remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, comment down below, and subscribe so that we can continue and build this community. Thank you. Peace.